This video shows you how to use Consume MS chart. If you are not familiar with the age stage 2-sex life table, please learn the age stage 2-sex life table first. Then come back to watch this one. You may have to watch this video a few times to learn everything. Firstly, you have to know why our predation rate, parasitism rate, and consumption rate are important. In biological control programs, we need to determine the predation rate of predators and the parasitism rate of parasitoids. In pest control programs, we need to detect the damage rate or consumption rate of a pest. Because most insect and mite species are bisexual and stage structured, it is imperative to consider the variability among stages and between sexes. Therefore, it is essential to use the age stage 2-sex life table in biological control. Unfortunately, life table research is usually isolated from predation rate study. It is not an easy task to link life table with predation rate. The only effective solution is to study the predator-prey relationship and biological control based on the age stage 2-sex life table theory. For an effective biological control, we have to link the life table with predation or parasitism. Integrating life table and predation rate is essential for demographic research and biological control. Life table is the most important basis of population ecology. Using the life table, you can project the population growth, devise an effective pest control strategy, mass rearing system, etc. However, it is impossible to understand the impact of natural enemies on pest populations based solely on the life table of natural enemies. Thus, it is impossible to plan a biological control work based solely on the life table of predators. You have to collect the predation rates of natural enemies based on life table to get a comprehensive understanding of their predatory ability to control pest populations. Remember, life table theory is a prime tool in population ecology and a major component of population ecology. But life tables are the beginning, not the end. Advancing life table science to embrace predation is crucial for theoretical ecology and applied ecology. In a life table study, researchers collect the developmental duration and survival of each individual and the number of eggs laid by each female. The predation rate, parasitism rate, or consumption rate can be simultaneously collected in a life table study. The number of aphids eaten by ladybugs or the number of diamondback moth larvae parasitized by a parasitoid are both integers. However, the leaf consumption rates of fall armyworms and diamondback moth are non-integers. In this slide, we explain the data format for Consume MS Chart program designed by Professor Dr. Chi. The basic and descriptive information in the blue box are exactly the same as the life table data file. For each individual, you enter the developmental duration of each stage in one line. Then you have to enter the daily predation or parasitism or consumption for each individual. For easy debug, you should enter these data in the next lines. You must use a -1 to end the predation data of each stage. If the insect didn't feed during the last 4 days, you can omit these tailing blue zeros. But you should never omit the 0 between two non-zero predation data. In this slide, I will explain the data format in detail. The first individual is a male. The developmental durations of egg, larva, pupa, adult are 6, 11, 12, and 6 days, respectively. Because the egg does not feed, the first -1 is used to end the predation data of egg stage. Larva lived 11 days. The predation rates are 8, 5, 9, 5, 6, 7, 4, 8, 5, 3, and 8. Similarly, a -1 is used to end the predation data of larval stage. Because pupa does not feed, a green -1 is used to end the predation data. Adult lived 6 days. The predation rates are 17, 23, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Again, a -1 is used to end the predation data of the adult stage. The second individual is a female. The developmental durations of egg, larva, pupa, adult are 6, 10, 11, and 11 days, respectively. Because the egg does not feed, a -1 is used to end the data of egg stage. Larva lived 10 days. The predation rates are 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 9, 7, 6, 5. Similarly, a -1 is used to end the data of the larval stage. Because the pupa does not feed, a -1 is used to end the data of pupal stage. Adult lived 11 days. The predation rates are 14, 0, 15, 24, 19, 20, 13, 0, 0, 0, 0. A -1 is used to end the data of the adult stage. You can omit the red zeros at the end of predation data. When editing data documents, it is recommended to write developmental times and predation rate in separate lines, so that errors can be easily detected. Attention! Do not enter more than 30 data items in each line. Press Enter at the end of each line. If the adult duration is very long, you can enter the predation data of adult in several lines. Keep each predation file in a specific folder. You should use only pure text editor, Notepad, Write, or others to prepare your data file, that is TXT file. If you use Word or Excel to prepare your data and save it as a TXT file, you need to double-check it. When you open the data file in Consume and you see a lot of spaces or blank lines in the preview window, there are errors. The following slides show you how to run Consume step by step. First, enter your username, your first or last name. Second, enter your password. If you're a VIP user, you can use your VIP password. Never give your VIP password to anyone. Third, check the box, I have read and accepted the terms and conditions. Fourth, click the Run button. If you see this screen, you can run Consume. Please read this quotable quote of Mencius Z. Lu, a student of Confucius, was always very happy whenever someone pointed out his shortcomings face to face. It is a pity nowadays not many journal editors and scientists are willing to accept scientific criticisms. Click Open Data File to read the predation data. When you see this message, each time unit equals, please enter the time unit you used to record the predation data. If you collected your data once a day, click on OK to accept the default 1 day. If you collected your data every 0.5 day, please enter 0.5 and click OK. Find your data file, click on the file name, and open it. You can see your data in the preview window. If there are empty lines or spaces, there are errors. You have to use text editor to remove them. Consume can identify some common errors, but not all. You know that humans make all kinds of errors. As a scientist, you should know how to find and correct your errors. Please read the message carefully and make proper correction. For example, please check the data of individual number 2 or 3, correct the errors, and rerun Consume. If there is no error in your data, you will see this message. Write predation data for specific bootstrap sample only. If you have prepared live tables for 0.025 and 0.975 percentile, you can select Yes. The Consume program will prepare corresponding predation data files for these live tables. If you didn't prepare the 0.025 and 0.975 bootstrap live table, you must select No. No is generally selected for the first analysis. Then click on Basic Run, and Consume starts the analysis. There will be quizzes at the end of the analysis. Consume MS Chart is designed not only for data analysis, but also for education. Don't ignore them. Be sure to think carefully, calculate, and enter your answers. Then, you can click Submit. If you give a wrong answer, be sure to read the explanation below to make sure you understand the relevant knowledge and theory. Remember, critical thinking is the only reliable road to knowledge. If you see this graph, the basic analysis has been completed. Consume MS Chart completes the analysis for you within a few seconds. But do you understand the theory embedded in Consume? Can you interpret the output files correctly? Do you know what important results should be reported in your paper? After running the basic analysis, you can choose Step 3 or 3A to continue the analysis. Read SASD to calculate finite predation rate. Click Step 3, Calculate Finite Predation Rate. Open File, Table File 10, Open File 10 in the Live Table folder to calculate the finite predation rate. At this time, the file selection box will pop up. Please go back to the folder of the Live Table. Select the File 10 in the Live Table file of this predation data and open it. There are 2 ways to present the SASD. In this one, The proportion of each age stage is calculated, and the summation of all acts is 1. In this file, 10_SSD, the proportion of newly laid egg, i.e. 0,1, is 0.09. In this slide, you can see the stable predation rate psi and finite predation rate. There will be an output file of finite predation rate. 0 output finite predation rate omega. In this slide, you can see the equations for the stable age stage distribution, stable predation rate, and finite predation rate. We will see the same stable predation rates and finite predation rate as in the previous step. If you click Step 3a, calculate finite predation rate, QX and PX, open Life Table File 10a. Open File 10a in the Life Table folder to calculate the finite predation rate and view the PX curve. This slide shows you the second way to present the SASD. In the second way, you assign the newly laid egg as unity, for example, a 0, 1 equal to 1. Then we calculate the relative proportion of other AXJ in the SASD. In the file 10SASD, you can see a 0, 1 equals 1. This slide shows you the 10SASD file for the second way of presenting SASD. In this slide, you can see the equations for the second way of presenting SASD. The calculated stable predation rate, psi, and finite predation rate are different from the first way of presenting SASD. Click on the analysis result graph. We can see the curve of the age-specific cumulative conversion rate Px. If the cumulative conversion curve increases first and then decreases at older age, it indicates that the population is eating more and giving less birth after this age. The conversion rate can be used for the construction of a cost-effective mass-rearing system. Using bootstrap technique to estimate the uncertainty of predation parameters. Consume uses the bootstrap technique to estimate the variance and SE of all parameters. The bootstrap results can be used to run paired bootstrap test. How to link C0 and R0. Since bootstrap technique is based on computer simulation, different results will be produced each time, and more stable results can be obtained by using a larger number of bootstrap samples. For example, B equals 100,000. 2sex keeps all bootstrap samples in the file 11 bootstrap samples for consume. To correctly link the analysis of the net predation rate C0 and the analysis of the net reproductive rate R0 in the calculation of the standard error of transformation rate QP, it is necessary to read the same bootstrap samples, 100,000 bootstrap records, used in the 2sex analysis for the bootstrap analysis of predation rate. When using the bootstrap technique to analyze the standard error of transformation QP, the same bootstrap sample must be used for R0 and C0. You will be asked if you are using the same bootstrap sample. Enter 1 to use the same sample. If you don't want to use the same bootstrap samples, you can enter 2. If you chose to run Step 3 or Step 3a in the previous step, which means you use the bootstrap technique to analyze the life table of this predation rate data, you will be restricted to using the same bootstrap sample even if you entered 2. When selecting a document, use the same bootstrap sample, the document with the file name _11_ bootstrap samples. Select and open it. Notice that the document is in the Life Table folder. After clicking Open, Bootstrap is running. Please wait. When you see the Good Job information box below, congratulations on completing the analysis. Consume completed the data analysis for you. You must read the Life Table and predation papers to understand the theories. Only then will you know how to interpret your research results and publish a good papers without errors. Please read the output file carefully. This slide is the new version of Consume. If you don't see this screen in your Consume program, you have to download the new version. As you use Consume, you must carefully read the following important literatures of life table and predation rate. The first life table paper published in 1985 is the most important reference of the age stage, 2sex life table. The second paper published in 2003 is the first predation rate paper based on 2sex life table. The third paper published in Nature Proceedings is used to claim the priority. The paper published in Biological Control in 2013 is the official publication of the finite predation rate. The next paper published in Journal of Economical Entomology is the first paper using 0.025 and 0.975 bootstrap life tables to simulate the variability of population growth and predation rate. The paper published in Entomologia Generalis in 2021 is the first paper integrating life tables and predation rates with computer simulations. So that's how to use Consume MS chart. True science is never easy. Difficult is good, difficult is beautiful, and difficult is closer to the truth. Thank you.